Ratcliffe, their head coach. And one name that you are not going to see on that starting 11 is Samantha Williams, who actually leads the team in goals. Boy, what a revelation she's been for the Cardinal attack. You'll likely see her before the first half is done. Beautiful 59-degree day here at Stanford. Buffs 4-1-1, Cardinal 2-2. And off we go. Enjoy the match. Historically, this series completely controlled by the Cardinals. Stanford has never lost to the Buffs, 11-0-0. And the last time the Buffs were in this building was in 2018. And it's certainly a day that had a lot of promise for Colorado. They came into that one 13-0-3, ranked number 15 in the rankings that week. Were flying high. And then they just ran into a Cardinal buzzsaw, 7-0 that day. Stanford went on to the College Cup that season, and of course won it all in 2019. Here's Maya Doms, finding Savannah Coleman, Centennial, Colorado's own, tries to center it, but instead it goes into the side of the net. Coleman on the Mac Herman Trophy watch list for the season. She got the first goal against the Buffs. That game here in 2018, just a minute 40 in. And the goals came fast and furious that day for Stanford. Bouncing beyond the midfield, back towards Kennedy Wesley. Sarah Paulson handles it for a moment. And here come the Buffs, Shira James. Has it poked out of bounds. Colorado ball. James, a freshman from La Mesa, California, had a goal and an assist in the Buffs' win over Northern Colorado. Madison Haley with her first touch sets up Maya Doms. Doms goes outside. The left foot trying to poke it towards Doms' direction, but the pass a bit overcooked. And falls instead towards Danny Hansen, as mentioned, from Broomfield, Colorado. Started at Washington and got 11 saves and a shutout against her former team when the Buffs played 2 against the Huskies in Seattle last weekend. That was a scoreless draw. But then UW came back and got the 2-1 win over Colorado 2 days after that. Only one of those games counted in Pac-12 conference play, and that was the first one, the scoreless draw. Talking to Danny Sanchez, the Buffs head coach, and getting his thoughts on what changes during Pac-12 play, and he said, yeah, there's no doubt the intensity ramps up, and it's especially keen this year when basically 90% of your matches are Pac-12 play. So it was a bit of an eye-opener for a younger Buffs squad. And an introduction into what they could face for the remainder of the season. But the Buffs have largely been up to the challenge over the past few years. So they're looking for their 4th NCAA tournament bid in the last 5 years. The ball from Angie down to Sarah Paulson. Paulson on frame, bounces and goes through. Sarah Paulson poked it towards the front post. Hansen just appeared to misjudge it. And just like that, Stanford's on top 1-0. Sarah Paulson, the freshman from Los Altos, California, got the first goal of her career on Friday against the Utes. And now she adds this one. As it appeared that Hansen may have been a bit more cognizant of waiting for a centering pass from Paulson. As you see, she's positioned a bit further towards the back post, and by the time she reacted, maybe got a late jump on it, it was too late. But Sarah Paulson in the goal column here in the 4th minute. Cardinal wasting no time. And they wasted no time on Friday against the Utes, scoring in the 3rd minute against Utah on Friday and going out to a 5-0 win. And in that first game, that first goal on Friday against the Utes was set up by Sarah's twin sister, Catherine Paulson, who made a fantastic assist, nutmegged the defender along the touchline, and then found Savannah Coleman streaking towards goal. That was in the 3rd minute on Friday against Utah. Today in the 4th minute, Sarah Paulson finds her way in the scoring column. Outside Kiki Pickett. Dispossessed, well done by Jade Babcock-Chi. Sophia Weiner taken away. Sarah Paulson. Paulson guarded closely by Weiner. They join hands, it seems, for a second. Out of bounds. Goal kick coming up. Well, talking to Stanford head coach Paul Ratcliffe before this weekend's matches began, and Stanford was still kind of stinging a bit from suffering the first back-to-back losses they had undergone since the 2013 season, the shocking decisions up in Eugene and Corvallis. And I asked him, what positives have you seen so far this year? And Paul said, look, we're playing. That's positive number one, given everything that everyone has had to go through. And given some of the restrictions that have been placed on the Cardinal as they were trying to train for the season. Madison Haley, just outside the 18. Sets up Amy Sayer, a freshman from Australia. She's got a howitzer, but I don't think she'll launch from here. Breed. To Maya Doms, missed the early portion of the season. Coleman bumped, tried to slide it towards Catherine Paulson. Sayer gets the clip and the call on Kaylee Webb for Colorado. Stanford had most of its players back in the fold on January 4th of this year. They underwent testing. They went through 10-day isolation. And it was all about building their fitness. Cardinal were originally supposed to play 2 games in mid-February, as they were supposed to host Santa Clara on February 14th, but the Broncos didn't get back to training until perhaps a bit too late for them to feel competitively ready for facing Stanford. And then they were supposed to face the University of San Francisco 3 days later, but that game got wiped out due to a positive test in the USF program. So instead, Stanford had to call Pepperdine and bring them up here. Pepperdine, the only team to beat the Stanford Cardinal in 2019, had Stanford on the ropes. They were up 1-0 before Stanford scored twice in the final 8 minutes to win 2-1. Cardinal escaped that day. No such luck against the Oregon schools the following week. But just the one tune-up for Stanford before beginning conference play. And it showed for the most part. Paul Ratcliffe was looking to see better movement off the ball and more crisp passing overall for the Cardinal going forward. And I think the Stanford team was able to check most of those boxes in a 5-0 win over Utah on Friday. Looking for further improvement here. Kennedy Wesley. Forward towards Madison Haley. Savannah Coleman lurking, not too far behind. There's Kiki Pickett, the captain's armband. Danny Sanchez calls her the most dynamic outside back in college soccer. Forward towards Haley. Haley setting up Coleman. A bit too much. Rolls past everyone and collected by Hanson. Madison Haley, the senior from Dallas, Texas. Second-team All-American in 2019. She was drafted number 7 overall by the Chicago Red Stars. Paul Ratcliffe thinks that Haley is the top striker in the country when healthy. She hasn't been 100% healthy to this point in the season. Shara James isn't bad herself, as she sends a spinner, stays on the ground, and is collected by Katie Meyer. James, as a freshman, scored 52 goals for the varsity team back in high school. And said, all right, I proved my point here, and then started to play club for the San Diego Surf. Of course, the old club team of one Katerina Macario. Transcendental Stanford superstar who is now with the U.S. women's national team and playing professionally overseas in France. Lyonnais Olympique. Sorry, I took Spanish in high school. French isn't exactly my thing. Wesley with room. Sarah Paulson poking it forward. And on a couple of hops, Hansen is able to get it. Well, signs of growth for Stanford as it got back in the win column as mentioned on Friday against Utah. And this overall is a young team, obviously without Katerina Macario. Cardinal also missing Colorado native Sophia Smith as she went in last year's NWSL draft. Sam Hyatt graduated as well. So certainly this team gets younger in some key positions. Naomi Germa out, suffered a knee injury during the fall. As that one is kept alive and sent towards Catherine Paulson. But offside is the call. Far side linesman has the flag up. Colorado will start things off, but this is a younger squad, but certainly started to see some growth against Utah, specifically with the Paulson twins. Sarah Paulson with a goal on Friday, has a goal today too. And Catherine Paulson looking fantastic with an assist and overall terrific play. Doms. Check that Sayer. Beyond Doms. Outside. Coleman. Can't hang on for it. Hopcroft comes away with it. Hopcroft versus Pickett. Forward towards James. Sierra Engie shields off James. Now Meyer with her feet sending it out towards Kennedy Wesley. Bree with the bump, and Doms gets the call. Belle Breed, the senior from Alpharetta, Georgia. Paul Ratcliffe says that she's been solid, makes good decisions. In high school, she shattered her MCL in 5 places. The force of that injury was so strong, it also tore her ACL, but she came back 9 months later. Said most of all, she missed going to practice. In the box, off the foot, and wide. Close call for Colorado. And that's a pretty nifty ball. Sent in the direction of Shira James. Another look. As James, yes, just got the front foot on it, but off target. Cardinal building. Buffs not really chasing, but just shifting around. Stanford trying to find a way forward. Here's Katie Meyer, the keeper. Burst onto the national scene with her performance in the NCAA College Cup Final down in San Jose in 2019. Hopcroft finally giving chase. Skips off Weiner. Stanford to throw it in. Kaylee Webb finds a little bit of room. A tackle, Haley. CU will throw it in. Down to Haley, trying to outfox two defenders, and that's going to be a way of life for her this season with, of course, her profile and her style of play and just how much of a complete player she's become over the past few years since coming to the Cardinal. There are going to be matches where she spends much of the day trying to fight through multiple defenders. Sayer the tug. Webb gets back up to her feet. And Sayer says, my bad. Colorado says, hey, we'll take the free kick. "15 minutes in, Stanford ahead of Colorado, 1-0. Great to have you with us. Troy Clarity here, Sarah Paulson with the goal in the 4th minute. Yellow card has been shown on Sayer. And the whistle before we can really get things going. And the official chatting in particular with Savannah Coleman. And we'll go back and do it again. Everyone fighting for position. And Haley able to clear it. Everyone was going goalward, but that ball ended up sputtering down towards the top of the 18. Out of bounds, Stanford to throw it in. Both of these teams trying to get winning weekends. Colorado with an impressive result at 10th ranked Cal on Friday. Goals from Hannah Schartz and Shanadi Hopcroft. Colorado's first win over a ranked opponent in 5 years. You gotta go back to October 2016 when they beat the Bears in overtime. So in that sense, history repeating itself a bit. Towards James, Meyer comes up, takes it about 17.5 yards out. Meyer aggressive, not afraid to come off the line, competitive, fiery, and a team captain as a redshirt sophomore. Pickett tries to clear, instead gets bumped from behind by James and loses the dribble. Outside, Coleman. Coleman with a bit of a shove, tries to get back up. And finally, the whistle goes against Colorado. Bit of a physical sequence out there. It's Coleman trying to win the race with Webb. They collide. And later on, actually, no, it looks like they are going to bring the ball back to the position where that contact happened. There was a collision a bit further down the pitch involving Madison Haley. Danny Hansen getting everyone set. Kiki Pickett standing over the ball. Free kick opportunity for the Cardinal. That one's bending towards the back post, aiming towards Haley, but heads back up towards the top of the 18. Sarah Paulson, and sent out of bounds by the Buffs. Set pieces will be very intriguing to watch today, particularly for Colorado. Of the 8 goals the Buffs have scored this year, 5 of them have come off of set pieces. They have done quite well in that department. Catherine Paulson waits. Madison Haley to tackle at the top of the 18. And out of bounds again. Jaden Newkirk, freshman. Part of a young Colorado backline that has done well for the most part this season. Newkirk, Schartz, Willis, and Babcock-Chi largely leading the way for the Buffs across the back. Leaves it for Doms. Breed gets it back. Outside. And ahead to Breed. Well, the movement off the ball continues to improve for Stanford as the season has gone along. Certainly this weekend. Maybe it wasn't quite there against Pepperdine in the opener, and probably wasn't there in the games up at the Oregon schools last week. But improvement shown already in that department, certainly on Friday, and to this point here today. The corner kick, first one of the match. Playing it short, setting it up. Looking for an opening. And that one is easily taken care of by the Buffs. Babcock-Chi, the sophomore from Del Mar, California. Both her parents played volleyball at UC San Diego. Catherine Paulson, bit of a hard touch. Can she hang on to it? The tackle made as the ball spins out beyond the back line. Danny Hansen snuffing that one out. Hansen had 3 saves against the Bears on Friday. Battled injuries throughout her time at Washington, but has really stood out now that she's back on her home ground up in Boulder. Left foot, penalty spot, knocked out. I believe Schartz got a head on that one. And the Buffs are off and running. Webb. Pickett tries to get the angle. Gets help from Doms. Colorado to throw it in. Webb played out of position as a freshman, going from midfield to defense. It worked, as the Buffs recorded 7 shutouts in that 2018 season, but now she's back in more of a midfielder's role this season. Schartz directing the traffic. Good long throw. James ends up with it, and nothing comes of that. Danny Sanchez happy with Shira James to this point. Good ball striker, very good in the air. But Sanchez notes that she still has a lot to learn as she adjusts from the club level. Pickett gets it back. Somehow squeezes towards Breed. Catherine Paulson tries the nifty move. It doesn't quite work 100%. Babcock-Chi hangs in there and makes a play. She's had a couple so far in this match, but the work not done yet for the Buffs. Haley, Doms, slides out to Sayer. Sayer the hard strike, but on a hop, Hansen gets it. Amy Sayer, the freshman from Sydney, Australia, on the Australian full national team. And she's a Great ball striker as well. Unleashed one on Friday against Utah that left a vapor trail. Stanford perhaps developing a Australia to Stanford pipeline a bit. You might remember Beattie Goad, who wrapped up her Cardinal career with a national championship in 2019. Goad, the Australian. Goad actually told the Stanford coaches about Amy Sayer and said, you might want to take a look at this player. They did. And here's Sayer on the farm. Stanford to throw it in. Off of Doms. Webb gets it back. Cardinal trying to clear. And we play on. Haley bumped by Webb. They both go down in a heap. Refs are letting them play. Going to ground. Cardinal getting it back. Outside to Sarah Paulson overlapping. Sarah Paulson, the goal scorer for today. Twin sister Catherine Paulson is on the pitch over on the far side. Sayer with options. Sends it out towards Catherine Paulson. Paulson. Not quite. And cleaned up by the Buffs. Coleman from Centennial, Colorado, sends a twister and trying to run on it. Catherine Paulson can't quite get there. Shielded off by Babcock Chi. Another look and a good idea with Paulson trying to head towards goal. But Babcock Chi with perhaps just enough of a shield off to prevent a complete commitment to the run. Who's it off of?
I got it. It's on ball.
Going Stanford's direction. Out of bounds, Cardinal to throw it in again. Well, you can sense the intensity. The urgency with which the communication is taking place on both sides. That's what Pac-12 women's soccer is all about. You ramp it up certainly whenever it's a conference opponent on the opposite side. Buffs learned that in Seattle last week. Here's Pickett. Pickett tries to center towards Coleman, but Hansen right there to make the play. Now, Hansen still on the ground and finally getting to her feet as Hansen put herself a bit in harm's way. As we take another look, this is what Kiki Pickett can do. She gets forward, involves herself in the attack, and that's a pretty accurate pass in the direction of Coleman. You get feet tangled up, you're trying to go to ground and smother the ball, and sometimes you end up the worse for wear. Hansen okay, back on her feet, and off we go. Breed turns and gets it back to Wesley. Pickett, Engie, Wesley, and Sarah Paulson across the back. for the Cardinal, who will be without the services of Naomi Girma, who was so terrific for Stanford, really emerged as a true leader for this Stanford squad. But Girma, with a knee injury in the fall, unable to go. There's Jesse Loren coming into the match, junior from Redondo Beach, California. Has one goal this season. That came against Northern Colorado. Stanford, of course, has put up so many terrific defensive efforts, fantastic defensive seasons, but a lot younger for the most part at that position this season. Paul Ratcliffe, three-time national champion. As Wesley has to get it out of harm's way. Haley. Coleman. Doms doesn't have numbers. Pauses for a moment. Finds Sayer. Sayer, will she let loose? She does, over the top. A missile from the left foot of Amy Sayer. And you just kind of had a feeling once she got closer to the 18 that she would try it. Never a bad idea in my book. Make sure the goalie can prove that she's Superwoman. Give the goalie something to think about. Hopcroft, fancy footwork. Needs a little help. And it gets out of bounds. Perhaps a bit of a miscommunication with Hopcroft and a few of her teammates, but watch this. The coordination, fancy skills. The young lady from England transferred to Boulder from UC Colorado Springs. She's had an intriguing road to get to this point. Started off at Daytona State College, then transferred to UC Colorado Springs, and then transferred after the head coach there got the job at LSU. So now she's a Buff. There's a first-team Division II All-American along the way. Danny Sanchez, of course, knows a little something about players at the Division II level. He won 2 national championships at Metro State as their head coach in Denver. Catherine Paulson tries to skip it off the front foot towards Pickett. Pickett fights for it. But the Buffs hang on to it momentarily, but the ball just out of bounds on the far side.
We have a crisis that we have all created. Therefore, we need to do something about it.
Can mental health become such a priority that the athletic community actually awakens the rest of society?
At the end of the day, mental health is health.
I am so proud to be a part of the Pac-12 because of the mental health initiative that they have taken.
We have to recognize that that's part of our jobs now, is not just to coach the sport, it's to prepare them for life after they're done at our school.
What the Pac-12 has done with their leadership and mandating that all member institutions participate in some sort of mental health or wellness as a conference is what it needs to be.
It's determining the future for who these student athletes are, because if you aren't healthy mentally, you aren't healthy in any other aspect of who you are.
And the fact that they are putting the resources into the mental health of our student athletes.
Well, if it isn't Big Carl, you fixin' to sauce me up? Sick those beefy twins on this cheese hound? Scram, Big Mac, go play with your extra toy bun. The adults are getting meaty.
Hurry to Carl's Jr. for the Big Carl. Feed your happy.
Adventure is calling. You may know it as the open road, a weekend getaway, or just getting away from it all. You've heard the call. Felt the urge to conquer the off-road, the craving of new trails to blaze, the desire to just keep driving. We know because we've gotten the call too. We look forward to seeing you out there. The Only Adventure Sales event is happening now. Land Rover, above and beyond.
Stand is precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to load their minds. Dare to explore. Dare to STEM. Learn more at She Can STEM.
I'm Mike New, head baseball coach at Cal, and you're watching Pac-12 Bay Area.
As usual, Kiki Pickett everywhere, and Danny Sanchez trying to figure out a way to limit her volatility. Offside, yep. Offside was a bit of an issue for Stanford, especially in the second half against Utah. As Danny Sanchez roams the Buff sidelines. His next win for Colorado will be his 100th running this program in his 9th year. Just over 30 minutes into this one, Stanford with a 1-0 lead over the Colorado Buffs. Sarah Paulson, your goal scorer, that came in the 4th minute. She put one towards the front post, but Danny Hansen, the Buffs keeper, was positioned a bit more towards the back post and perhaps didn't quite see it in time. Bounces off of Haley in the air. Hansen able to get it. But that's the only goal to this point, with Madison Haley trying to find her way in the point column for the first time this year. No goals or assists as of now. Started the season a little bit behind, carrying a slight injury. It's a collision in the midfield. It'll go in Colorado's direction. James hit the deck quite hard. Madison Haley, Paul Radcliffe says that she's the top striker in the country and that she can stand out like Katerina Macario. Can she stay healthy? That's the big question. Everyone getting in position, the officials making sure that no one is going out of their way to do something that might be a bit uncouth. And here we go. Towards Pickett, and she falls just beyond everyone. Jaden Newkirk had the best shot at it for the Buffs. Colorado's best chance to this point came on a play like that. As that was a free kick earlier, actually found Shira James. A little shirt grabbing here, as Hannah Schartz was in the mix. Now she smiles it off. Up to Sayer. In the middle, Loren with Pickett trying to make the tackle. Trickles out of bounds. Buffs keep possession. CU will make a substitution here. Sophia Weiner coming off. And Ali Palangi coming in, sophomore from Pismo Beach, California. Had an assist against Weber State. Palangi got involved in a car crash in January 2018. A broken back and a broken leg in 2 places. But Colorado stayed with her throughout the commitment process. They didn't shy away. So Ali is now a Colorado Buff. And back on the pitch. Loren loses it. Breed takes advantage. Here come the Cardinal. Towards Haley, 1-on-3. So Haley waits. Doms to Catherine Paulson. A poke towards the back line, the touch line. Nope, bit too strong. And a goal kick coming up for Colorado. Reinforcements entering the game for the Cardinal. As coming in for Stanford, JoJo Harbor entering the match, the senior from Bellevue, Washington. Harbor, one of the veterans of the squad. Samantha Williams also in the game for the Cardinal. And Williams, if there's been a revelation early on in this season for Stanford women's soccer, it's been Samantha Williams, the freshman from Laguna Beach, California, with 3 goals this year, 2 of them coming against Utah. High work rate, high motor, never stops, and always attacks. Samantha Williams, so much fun to watch. Meyer calls for it. Slight collision, Wesley getting back up to her feet, but Meyer standing tall amidst the chaos. That's what keepers are tasked with. So your forwards right now for the Cardinal appear to be Harbor and Haley and Samantha Williams. Had Sarah Paulson showing for it here on the near side, but it's Breed who has it. Breed survives the bump, taken down just outside of the box. More substitutions coming in for the Cardinal, the next opportunity. Wesley. To Sarah Paulson. Breed settles and puts it on goal. Hansen has been relatively busy throughout the course of this half. To this point, just one official save, so Ratcliffe did. Out of bounds, Colorado to throw it in, and Stanford to send in a couple of new players into this game. Looks like Astrid Wheeler coming in, the freshman from Atlanta, Georgia. Julia Leontini, a defender, a freshman from Danville, California, also coming in. There's Astrid Wheeler. She was Top Drawer Soccer's #1 recruit for 2020. Now they're going Stanford's direction. So the Cardinal getting younger with several freshmen on the pitch right now. Pickett, a veteran, a senior from Santa Barbara, gets it going for the Cardinal. Sends it forward. Dom's the closest Cardinal to it. Sharp sizes it up. Williams sprinting, trying to keep it in bounds. Well done. Nice job by Haley Adams, who is in for the Buffs defensively. There's Samantha, our first good look at her today. Haley Adams defensively for the Buffs, a senior transfer from Pasadena, California. Transferred in from Grambling after the 2018 season. Adams' older brother, Vernon, you might remember him. Boy, what a quarterback he was for the Oregon Ducks a few years ago. Towards the penalty spot. Wesley was in the area, but I believe Schartz got a piece of it. And finally cleared out by the Buffs. Williams. Harbor. Hansen on a couple of hops. Taken away by Wheeler for a second. Doesn't quite have enough to get to Haley, but Wheeler keeps working. Doms. Taken away. Webb doing the honors there, but Pickett keeping it alive for the Cardinal. Wheeler. Out to Williams. Try to set up Haley, not enough on that pass. Less than 5 minutes to go, first half. Leontini sends it out. And gets it back with Pickett. Leontini calmly finding a teammate along the far side, trying to set it up. Williams with the feint, the nice turn, but the ball rolls out of bounds. Substitutions coming in for the Buffs. We'll tell you about that in a moment, but first at the half, stick around. Ashley Adamson, Elise Woodward, and Stanford's own Rosgold on Woody, previewing tonight's women's basketball final between UCLA and Stanford. Boy, what a matchup that was when those two teams met down in Santa Cruz in January. UCLA got the win. Stanford couldn't get a board in the late going of that match. So Cardinal hoping for revenge against the Bruins and a Pac-12 tournament title. That game coming up later on this afternoon. Of course, Pac-12 men's basketball. That tournament begins later this week. Tessa Barton, we should mention, is in the game for Colorado, coming on for Jessie Loren. Overshoots Sarah Paulson and Libby Garrity. Substitution for Colorado. Here comes Rue Yarnell Williams, sophomore from Sacramento. Was hindered by injuries during her freshman year, but still turned in a pretty good campaign that year, scoring 4 goals for the Buffs in the 2019 season.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
That one's headed our way, actually. Sharts to throw it in, the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week from February the 15th, with a goal at Cal on Friday. Making sure everyone's set with 2 minutes to go first half. Another good long throw. Cardinal trying to clear, swooping in Leontini. She gets the clear, sending it towards Haley. Haley keeps it. Haley in Williams' direction, cut off by Babcock-Chi. Maybe Williams hanging on a bit too long after the dispossession. Doms patrolling the midfield. Doms and Sayer, of course, two Cardinal to watch going forward. Katarina Macario, of course, started her career as a forward, and won Pac-12 Forward of the Year, and then moved back to the midfield to take advantage of her vision and her skills, and then won Pac-12 Midfielder of the Year. So the midfield now manned by Doms and Sayer. Those are the two main players of that unit. Doms with a good freshman campaign, but was a bit hindered by injury earlier in the season. And Sayer, brand new to the farm. Winding down the first half. Buffs trying for an opportunity here. battle here has been intriguing to watch as that ball comes down, headed back and through. Score for Colorado. And once again, the Buffs come up big off a set piece. And we're tied at 1 apiece. Well, Colorado has had several of these opportunities. Their best one was finished off by Shira James as that one went off her front foot, but that one was wide of the goal. Who got this one? We'll see if we can pick it out of the crowd, and we'll try to get more clarification on that officially in the scrum, but it goes through, and the Buffs with their first goal against Stanford since October of 2015. Stanford's outscored them in 16-0 in 4 games since then, but now they're on the board, and this match is tied at 1 apiece. Stanford in the 4th minute, and then Colorado coming through in the 45th minute. Halftime festivities, including a complete preview, Stanford UCLA Pac-12 Women's Basketball Championship, and of course highlights of this one coming up as well. It's been a good one. We thought it would be. Cardinal and Buffaloes tied at 1 apiece at the half.
You're watching Pac-12 Bay Area, home of the Cal Bears and the Stanford Cardinal. Available on Xfinity.
Pac-12 Women's Soccer is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Well, in Boulder, they have the Flatirons. Here at Stanford, they have the Foothills. Can't go wrong either way there. And here at Stanford, the Cardinal and the Buffaloes tied at 1 apiece as we begin the second half. Troy Clarity, glad that you are here with us. Evenly played to this point. Stanford scoring early in the first half. Colorado scoring late in the first half. Both teams looking for ways through to get the very next goal. Stanford has looked more crisp with their movement off the ball and their passing for the most part to this point. But the Buffs able to do what they do best and get on the board the way that they've been doing it all year. 9 goals this year for the Buffs, 6 of them now coming off of set pieces. But that is only the half of it. As off we go, Cardinal begin the second half. Before Jade Babcock-Chi sends that one out. She has had some fantastic defensive sequences so far in this one, with Maya Gonzalez sending that one out. Towards Haley. Now Doms one time blocked by Schartz. And what a big block that potentially could have been, as Doms had that one sized up right from jump. And Danny Hansen says, thank you very much. Towards Haley, but not enough on that throw. Shira James trying to control it. And comes down to Gonzalez. Newkirk has to play it back. Schartz being chased by Haley. Now finally sent forward towards Savannah Coleman, who's been quiet so far. Coleman with 2 goals this season. A penalty kick goal to give the Cardinal the win against Pepperdine late in that match against the Waves. And then scoring again in the early going on Friday against Utah. Bell Breed in the middle finds Kiki Pickett. Trying to chase, and Haley for a moment had forced the errant pass and the turnover that Savannah Coleman had at her feet, but nope. Referee says, hang on. Call the foul on Haley. Madison Haley's father, of course, the Pro Football Hall of Famer Charles Haley, 5-time world champion with the 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Pickett gets a foot on it, trying to finish it off, stops on a dime, and then coolly and calmly hands it off to a teammate. But the clear not completed. As Babcock-Chi puts that one forward towards Meyer with no one necessarily running onto it. Well, Babcock-Chi has had moments. Schartz has been big. She got the goal. Willis with terrific service off of the free kicks that we have seen just beyond the midfield stripe. Willis got the assist on that Colorado goal. Haley. Doms. Tried to find Pickett in the traffic. Pickett chasing. With a little space, Paulson centers towards Coleman, trying to get back to her feet. Can't do it in time. Cleared up by the Buffs. Willis handling that. Willis and Coleman, both from Centennial, Colorado. Willis went to Cherry Creek High School. Coleman went to Chatfield as that one bounces to Hansen. So Centennial, Colorado, well represented in this match. Just south of Denver. Inglewood, Littleton, that area. Too far away from Haley. Stanford at 2-2 on the season. Back-to-back losses against the Oregon schools last week on the road. That loss to Oregon snapping a 20-game win streak for the Cardinal. First back-to-back losses for Stanford since 2013, but the win against Utah prevented a 3-game losing streak for Stanford. That would have been its first, also since 2013. So Stanford able to avoid a historical mark there that they certainly would not have liked to have owned. Flag up. Colorado ball. Danny Sanchez and his Colorado Buffaloes 4-1-1 on the year says that when Pac-12 play comes around, you got to pick up your play and play with confidence. I'm sure they got a lot of confidence with that win at Cal on Friday, and they're playing overall with confidence here. Haven't really shied away from the challenge, which is a bit more remarkable considering that they were down 1-0 just 4 minutes in. And considering how things went the last time the Buffs were in this building with a takedown at the midfield stripe. Stanford scored just 2 minutes into that one en route to a 7-0 whitewashing of the Buffaloes. CU could have said, okay, well, here we go again, but no, they've hung in there. To Haley. Haley to Paulson. Off her foot. Snuffed out again by Hansen. Catherine Paulson making the move, staying onside, depending upon whom you talk to, but Hansen able to thwart that opportunity. Well, it's where the defender is when the ball leaves the foot. Meanwhile, corner kick for the Cardinal. From Sarah Paulson, left foot. Floating back post in the mixer. Haley trying to fish it out, can't do it. That was a high floater. And Haley had the best shot at the ball, but maybe not a great shot at putting that one through. Beautiful day on the farm. It was 59 degrees when we started. Bit of a breeze. Might have some rain here in the Bay Area the next couple days. Falls back to Wesley. Meyer, back to Wesley. Forward towards Haley. And Haley off with the turn and the takedown. And into the book. Go the Buffs. And as mentioned, that's going to be how things are going to go for Madison Haley. She's going to be a marked woman no matter where she is on the pitch. It is going to be physical, and people are not going to want to get breakout or breakaway opportunities on her. As yeah, that was a pretty clear foul. Hannah Schartz goes into the book. Into Breed. Breed turns, knocked away. Second effort won't come. Coleman. And a whistle against Stanford. And Savannah Coleman was in the area. With Hanson about to send it away. Just right on the outside of the box. Haley with the slide tackle. Colorado to throw it in. Coleman comes in and keeps it in play. Bounces towards Catherine Paulson. And Breed able to settle it down a bit. The pass too strong. Colorado taking advantage. Jenny Beyer in the match, the freshman from Stuttgart, Germany. Beyer actually showed up to the Colorado team late. She was going to stay in Germany, but that team shut down due to COVID-19. Suddenly she had nowhere to play, decided to come to Boulder. James leaves it off for Gonzalez. Gonzalez lets loose, but it bends well wide of the net. Not a bad idea for Gonzalez. The placement perhaps not quite where she wanted it to be, but I do like the idea. And that's a heck of a ball by Shira James, drawing both defenders towards her and then just flicking it out towards Gonzalez. Well done. Breed has a lot of room, but Shira James is closing quickly. Doms. Haley lets it roll past. And that one bounces off the third row of the metal bleachers here. Lawson Willis had an assist against Cal on Friday. Her brother Mac is a place kicker for the Buffs football squad. Breed to Catherine Paulson, trying to shake the defender, gets a little help, back to Pickett. Doms with Pickett taking over, and now the scramble is on. Hanson wins the race. Well, the movement there again for Stanford, picking spots. Pickett, of course, in the middle of things, and just trying to sneak it towards Haley. Hanson with a couple of saves already in this half. Long roll, out of bounds. Goal kick for the Buffs. Paul Ratcliffe in the background, Jenny Byer in the 4. All eyes here on Kagan Stadium. On the ground, but James sliding it forward. Hopcroft. We've seen fancy footwork from her in this match. We've also seen a lot of that from Kiki Pickett, who, as usual, is all over the place. Pickett's motto is "Remember Me." And after her stellar career here on the farm, the title-clinching penalty kick against North Carolina in the College Cup final in 2019, no doubt, everyone will remember her. Pickett couldn't quite find the handle. Shards. Hopcroft. And Coleman finally sends it forward. Sayer with Haley. And Catherine Paulson overlapping. Sayer waits, finds Downs. Angie finding the open teammate. Mentioned Pickett, drafted number 4 overall in the NWSL draft, taken by Kansas City in January. Madison Haley taken number 7 overall by Chicago. And I asked Paul Radcliffe, how do you think that could affect the dynamic of what they do this season? And Paul said hopefully it doesn't affect them that much at all. It is intriguing that they already have a path forward after the season is done, as that one slides forward to Coleman, but just beyond her reach and taken away by Hansen. Nifty ball from Haley to Coleman, who's starting to become a bit more of an offensive force over the past few minutes. But Paul Radcliffe said it's kind of easy if you have that path forward to maybe kind of start to slack off just a little bit here or there. You know you're going to the pros, so you know, maybe you've got one eye towards that and you act accordingly, but he didn't think that either Madison or Kiki would take that approach, that they would be 100% all in for Stanford this season. He says they love representing Stanford, they love playing for this program. That one a long shot from Shira James, handled by Katie Meyer. So even though those young ladies are already off to the pros, Paul Radcliffe expects more of the same. Shira James, we're going to be seeing a lot of her, I think, over the next few years. Buffs, of course, the last season they were on the pitch, they still had Taylor Korniak, who scored so many goals. The collision, Breed goes to ground, as does Kaylee Webb. And here we go again. Another opportunity here for the Buffs, as they have done quite well in this department. Close call midway through the first half and then putting it through on a situation like this late in the first half. In traffic, Haley with the clear. And Coleman still down. And she may need a little help from the training staff. Kiki Pickett out there to offer any moral support she can have. We'll take another look at it ourselves, as that one off the recoil. That never feels good, speaking from my experience from a long time ago. That never feels pleasant. Paul Radcliffe said Savannah Coleman was on pace to be Stanford's top striker in 2019 before she was injured and lost for the season during the preseason. As now Coleman is walking over to the Cardinal bench. Jesse Loren back in for the Buffs. Samantha Williams also back in for the Cardinal. By the way, scoring update from Phoenix, or for Tempe, I should say. Washington and Arizona State in the second overtime period. They're tied at 1 apiece. Arizona State 1-0 entering today's action. Oregon State, UCLA are just underway, as is USC and Oregon. And then later on today, it's Utah versus Cal. Washington State was supposed to play Arizona today, but unfortunately, COVID-19 issues with the Cougs kept them in Pullman. They were not able to make the plane ride down to the Grand Canyon State. Cougs, so much fun to watch. Todd Schulenberger has that program going in the right direction. In fact, they are in the College Cup in 2019. Shira James turns, gets a little space, skips hard off of the foot of Sophia Weiner, and off go the Cardinal. Williams aimed towards Haley, just a bit too strong. Switching fields, Hopcroft. Hopcroft blocked by Pickett. And a corner kick coming. You could sense that Hopcroft was just looking for a little bitty window. She found it, let it go, but Pickett able to block it. And you can also sense that Colorado was building a bit more momentum here as the minutes go by and gaining a bit more confidence in its attack.
Since 1943, the Entertainment Industry Foundation has been amplifying awareness and support for causes like these. To learn more, please visit eifcares.org.
Hopcroft, the goal in the 73rd minute against the Bears on Friday. Danny Sanchez says that she hasn't hit her stride yet. That's an intriguing possibility if you're CU. Left foot, front post. James in the mix. Cleared out by the Cardinal, sent back. The Whistler blocked, altered. Either Engie or Wesley got a foot on that one, I believe. And Pickett finally gets it out of there. (1-1) here at Stanford. Glad you're with us in the 63rd minute. Troy Clarity here at Laird Q. Kagan Stadium. Stanford 1-1 in Pac-12 play. Colorado 1-0-1 in conference action to this point. Both teams winners on Friday, and each hoping for double wins this weekend. Stanford the bounce-back win over the Utes on Friday. Colorado trying to beat ranked teams in back-to-back matches here in the Bay Area. Corner kick for the Buffs coming up. So here we go again, another corner for Colorado. Katie Meyer making sure everyone is set. Here we go. Hard towards the front post. And Colorado to throw it in as Wesley sent that one out rather emphatically. Long throw from Schartz. Pickett versus Byer. Newkirk had called for it, and she gets it. Well, do not adjust your set. We are having a moment with our score bug. It is one apiece between Stanford and Colorado. I'll keep you updated as we go along. In the 65th minute, kind of like the old days before score bugs, when you watched sports on TV a little bit. Throw-in coming for the Buffs. Sharks will accept the honors, as she has shown her ability time and time again to get the ball into the box on long throws. Here it comes. Williams sends it out of bounds, barely. Thought that might end up being a corner kick for a brief moment. Skips back. Pickett clears towards Haley. And now Haley with the turn. Forward to Doms. Williams. Cardinal countering. Williams waits. Now Sayer to Haley. And Sayer again. Seems like it's been a while since the ball has been on this end of the pitch. Forward towards Williams. Down to Pickett. Ahead towards Doms with Webb guarding closely. Cardinal probing. Testing, tapping. Trying to find a way through a Colorado defense that has largely played cohesively. Angie keeps it alive. Back to Wesley again. Cardinal being patient. Sayer shows for it, but he goes to Williams again. Sayer gets it. Sayer lets loose off the crossbar. Buffs try to clear. Cardinal get it back. Heads up. Holy smoke, what a shot by Sayer. Cardinal trying it again. I told you that Sayer let loose with one on Friday. It looked a lot like that. Just an absolute laser. Cardinal switching fields towards Catherine Paulson. But it bounces beyond everyone. A goal kick now for the Cardinal. Another look here. Good ball movement. And then Sayer just says, hey, let me take a crack at it. And if you're a goalie, doink can be one of the great sounds you'll ever hear. Certainly was in that case for Hansen. Extra defender. Meanwhile, the iron unkind to Sayer. Balls to Haley. Babcock Chi, I believe, with the defensive play. And back and forth we go. We spent a few minutes on the other end of the pitch. Now Colorado on defense, trying to hold back the Cardinal. Catherine Paulson. These through. Haley. Looking around, poked forward. Paulson offside. Well, Haley was looking for options, didn't have a whole lot of room to work with the Colorado back line positioned rather high in that sequence, but tried to get it out to Paulson, but Paulson called for the offside. And that back line just kind of squeezed Stanford to the point where it just really didn't have a whole lot of room to operate. Here come the Buffs. Centered. Hopcroft doesn't have enough on it. Boy, Hopcroft tried the one-timer, had it sized up, just couldn't quite connect. Didn't get a clean hit. Catherine Paulson chasing. Julia Leontini back in the match. Newkirk back to Sharks. It's gone final in Tempe as Washington and Arizona State play to a 1-1 draw. So the Sun Devils stay unbeaten in the early going of Pac-12 play. Off of Williams. And that's the thing about Samantha Williams. She goes non-stop on all ends of the pitch. Amaya Gonzalez returning to the match. Tried to hit Catherine Paulson, but not enough on it. Paulson does end up with it. Turns, looks, swept away. Got sent out by Babcock Chi. Jesse Loren with a nifty defensive play. And Catherine Paulson hoping to get another opportunity. Catherine and her twin sister Sarah, they actually hosted a TEDx talk on finding your true identity while they were in high school, St. Francis High School in Mountain View, just down the road. Astrid Wheeler, one time, not enough on it. Wheeler, a four-time high school All-American from Atlanta. Falls to Gonzalez. And out of bounds. Substitutions for both teams. Catherine Paulson is coming out. And Savannah Coleman, wearing a New Jersey, is back into the match. So Coleman wearing number 31. So if you see number 31 out there for Stanford, you're wondering who is that? It's Savannah Coleman. Normally wears number 14, but had to change shirts. Heading towards Coleman, instead knocked out. Lands just below our broadcast position. Coleman missing a few minutes after taking a recoil ball off the forehead. Never pleasant. Sayre trying to fight for it. Gonzalez gets it instead. Williams in pursuit. Spinning down towards Leontini. Who's able to get it back. has Pickett overlapping and running downfield. Can't quite get it there. Angie switches field. The slide. The dispossessed for a moment. Williams heads it in Coleman's direction. The Buffs able to get that one, and they'll throw it in. Stanford number 23 in the coaches poll. They fell 20 spots after those back-to-back losses last week. Colorado not receiving votes, but I would imagine that given their win at Cal on Friday, the Bears ranked number 10 coming into Friday's matchup, and some things they've shown here, that they might start to get a little notice in the coaches poll next week. So that might be an intriguing subplot to watch in the days ahead. But first, let's finish up this one. See what happens here. So we have less than 15 minutes remaining in regulation. The flick from Loren towards Garrity, who's able to hang on to it. Sends it towards Tessa Barton. Now Loren switching field. Gonzalez, far side, working on Sarah Paulson, and Sarah Paulson wins that battle. It's been a bit of a trial by fire at times for the youngsters across the back for Stanford, but Sarah Paulson able to win that one. Whistle. Tessa Barton says, "Who, me?" Barton, the sophomore from Littleton, Colorado. You might remember her older sister, Tatum, scored 17 goals for the Buffs combined in the 2017 and 2018 seasons. Of course, Taylor Korniak doing much of the goal scoring during that era of Buff soccer. Poked forward towards Leontini. Leontini on the move. Left foot, the cross. Williams traps, settles, serves up Coleman, wide of the net. Well, the calm composure by Samantha Williams, able to collect the ball and set up Coleman. And I like the idea the entire way through. Well done with the cross by Leontini, the nice vision. And then Coleman, the one-timer, is just off frame.
Hey, I'm Wilmer Valderrama, and you probably know me as a pretty funny guy. Well, at least that's what my mom tells me. But today I'm here to talk about a topic that's anything but. It's kidney disease. And 33% of American adults are at risk. And did you know that diabetes and high blood pressure, which also happen to run in my family, put you at higher risk? In just a minute, you can find out if you're at risk for kidney disease too.
The Harry's razor is not the same. Because some of us are not the same. Our close shave comes from our 5 German-engineered blades, designed to start sharp and stay sharp. And we never upcharge you for high quality. So for those of us who don't want just the same, Harry's razors are here. Harry's, not the same. Available in-store and at harrys.com.
Adventure is calling. You may know it as the open road, a weekend getaway, or just getting away from it all. You've heard the call. Felt the urge to conquer the off-road, the craving of new trails to blaze, the desire to just keep driving. We know because we've gotten the call too. We look forward to seeing you out there. The Only Adventure sales event is happening now. Land Rover, above and beyond.
We can make that happen, definitely.
This looks great.
We'll bring it and have
Getting through the morning meeting in one piece?
Thanks.
Feels good. Then realizing it's payday. That definitely feels good. All while keeping the kids busy and the clients happy? You're unstoppable. With a Wells Fargo checking account, you can bank without missing a beat.
throw in will go in Stanford's direction. Taylor Korniak drafted number 3 overall by Orlando in last year's NWSL draft. In her 4 seasons, she scored or assisted on nearly 42% of Colorado's goals. That's an eye-popping number. And the Buffs replacing her along with J.J. Tompkins in goal. Intercepted by Babcock-Chi. Settled by Breed. And the Cardinal keep it on the ground for the moment. Well, passing and movement off the ball have been the 2 things that Paul Ratcliffe wanted to improve the most heading into this week. Let's see how Stanford responds in those departments in the final minutes here of regulation. Not quite the result he would have liked there with Jenny Byer breaking that one up. Breed finds Haley. Haley has room. She shoots off of Hanson. Haley had some room, and maybe even more room than she might have thought as she tried to settle it. I thought she might have tried to let it go a little bit earlier in that sequence. As we get the other look, as she took a bit of an extra step there. That kind of surprised me a bit. And maybe that bought Danny Hanson a little bit more time to locate the ball. Nifty save by Hanson. And a corner kick now for the Cardinal. Down to Doms. Blocked by Haley, and Haley may have taken the worst of that one. Less than 10 minutes remaining. And another corner kick for the Cardinal. Haley appears to be okay. She's staying in. The left foot to Doms. Blocked by Byer. Buffalo's defense has been up to the task for much of this match. In fact, the only goal scored by Stanford to this point was a misjudged ball by Hanson. That was all the way back in the 4th minute. Skips off of Schartz for a moment. Off of Pickett's foot. Coleman. From 2 defenders. Into Haley. Out to Pickett. And that is out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for the Buffs. Well, the 2021 Pac-12 Men's Basketball Tournament presented by New York Life is about to tip off live from Las Vegas. Tune to Pac-12 Network to see who emerges victorious and takes home the hardware. Coverage begins Wednesday on Pac-12 Network, or download and stream it live wherever you might be with Pac-12 Now. Number 6, Stanford. And number 11, Cal. I believe that will wrap up Wednesday's action in Las Vegas, with 3-seed Colorado awaiting the winner of that one. Skips off of the defender, Babcock-Chi. Wren. Too strong for Byron. Williams turns, has space, lets it go. Too strong, not in the park. Samantha Williams, super impressive as a freshman to this point in the season. And roamed through unmarked. A bit surprising there for Colorado. Pickett sprinting. The anticipation, the pass to Coleman. Coleman has a couple of options, but Hansen has the answer. With Williams crashing in, Hansen snuffing it out. Out of bounds, Colorado to throw it in. A superb play by Danny Hansen. Coleman with the centering pass towards Williams' direction. Hansen locating it all the way. Five minutes to go in regulation. Stanford 11-0-0 lifetime against Colorado. Inaccurate pass. James, forward, beyond Byers' range. Has some room. Directing traffic. Coleman, left foot blocked. Off of Shart's upper body. Engie outside to Coleman. Coleman in traffic, somehow gets it away. And the Buffalo defense emerging unscathed once more. Back to Engie. As the clock keeps rolling, late second half, Haley turns. Has a little bit of room. Tried to get it to Coleman, not enough. Babcock Chi has been there for much of this match. Off of Doms and finally controlled by Pickett. 3 minutes to go. Haley. Williams handles it. Engie. Ahead Coleman. Has space. Coleman beats Hansen and scores! The girl from Centennial, Colorado comes through. And the Cardinal take a 2-1 lead late in the second half. Coleman's third goal of the year. And Breed with a nice pass to set it up, but then Coleman one-on-one beating two First Schartz and then Hansen. Fancy footwork. And Coleman with her third goal of the season. And it could not have come at a better time. Well, her first goal of the year put the Cardinal ahead 2-1 late in Stanford's season opener against Pepperdine. So no stranger to critical goals late in games. That was of the penalty kick variety. This one in the run of play. But the Buffs still have time. Meanwhile, Coleman down on the ground, still down. And struggling a bit. Finally back up on her feet. With exactly 2 minutes left in regulation. Coleman got the goal in 2018 to start that game against the Buffaloes. And her goal now, this time around against CU, could be the finisher. It appears that she might finish this one on the bench. Catherine Paulson back in. Sizing it up. Forward to Beyer. Beyer skips off of Meyer. Cardinal trying to clear. Instead it bounces beyond the back line. Corner kick, Colorado. And Katie Meyer able to have that one deflect, I believe, off of her foot. So that one is nothing but an open net behind her. Right foot, back post, punched out. And now in traffic, there's a whistle, and Stanford will have the chance to get it away, and now Madison Haley is down. But getting back up to her feet. Meyer with the punch to try to get the ball out of trouble as we're now in the final minute of regulation. Haley's okay, back on her feet. Paul Radcliffe saying, let that clock run. Down the field. And offside on Colorado. And time is starting to run very, very short for CU. Bounces beyond James. Hopcroft trying to get there. Breed does instead. And the final seconds ticking off here at Larry Q. Kagan Stadium. And it's a final. It wasn't easy, but it was a win for the Stanford Cardinal. Savannah Coleman in the 88th minute putting it through and breaking it open for Stanford as the Cardinal beat the Buffaloes. The final score here from the farm, Stanford 2, Colorado 1. And what a game this was, a Buffalo matchup, especially in the second half where both teams had equal shots at it, were controlling things on both ends of the pitch. They took turns alternating control of this match, but eventually it's Stanford who was able to break through and get the win. They are now 3-2 on the season, 2-1 in Pac-12 play, while Colorado falls to 4-2-1 on the season, 1-1-1 in Pac-12 play. Sarah Paulson with the first goal of the day, and Savannah Coleman finishing it in the 88th minute. Hope you enjoyed it. This was fun. On behalf of our Pac-12 Network crew, I'm Troy Clarity. Thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay sane, and back the Pac. Cardinal over the Buffs, 2-1.
This March,